Hello, and thank you for joining me for Moms in Media 2020. My name is Melissa DeCesare, and I'm a Vice President here at Edison Research, and I'm also a part of the Research Moms here at Edison. We report on topics about this important mom demographic that we ourselves are proud to be a part of. Mother's Day is coming up in a few days, and while for many of us it will not be typical and it will likely be celebrated in new ways, we here at Edison wanted to keep our tradition and share our Moms in Media report with you today. We'll share the usual media usage and consumption data, which predates COVID-19, but we also have some fresh data about what moms are doing with devices and media usage currently while we are in this COVID-19 pandemic. And we will not have live Q&A today, but you can absolutely submit any questions in the chat window on Zoom, and we will respond. As many of you are aware, Moms in Media is taken from the Infinite Dial, and that Infinite Dial series dates back to 1998. It's actually the longest running survey of digital media behavior in America. And over the years in Moms in Media, we've reported about the technology, devices, and overall media that moms use to support their mobile behavior. In this presentation today, we'll see data and trends for device ownership, media consumption, and social media engagement before COVID-19 took hold and changed life as we know it. But that's just it. Life has changed dramatically, and habits and behaviors have changed too. So in addition to our usual tracking data from earlier this year, we'll look at new research about the current situation and gain insight on some of those changes to media habits and behaviors. So before we get into our data for today, let's take a look at the methodology. In early 2020, Edison Research conducted a national telephone survey of 1,502 people aged 12 and older. We used random digit dialing to both cell phones and landlines. The data was weighted to national 12-plus U.S. population figures. And in addition, Edison also conducted a national online survey of 3,159 people aged 12 and older. That online data was weighted to match the Infinite Dial telephone demographics of those with internet access. We are defining mom as a woman having a child under 18 living in her household. And the samples from the Infinite Dial gave us 220 moms from the telephone survey and 467 moms from the online survey. And last but definitely not least, Edison recently surveyed an additional 326 moms in a national online study to get perspective on media habits during the COVID-19 pandemic. So let's take a look at who made up our sample. And please keep in mind that these sample demographics for age and employment that you're about to see are based on the original pre-COVID-19 data, which is from the Infinite Dial phone survey. So first up here, we see age for our mom sample, and we have the biggest slice at 39% going to moms 35 to 44, 29% were age 25 to 34, and another 21% are those age 45 to 54. The youngest moms, who were 18 to 24, made up 4%, and those 55 plus came in at 7%. The mean or average age of moms in our sample was 40. Taking a look at the employment status of the moms in our sample, the majority are employed either full-time or part-time, and that's about 70%. A reminder that this is for the data that is pre-COVID-19. So in real time, employment looks much different now. We'll get started with the presentation looking at the devices that moms are using. Smartphones, tablets, and even smart speakers all play a part in Mom's Day. 89% of moms own a smartphone in 2020. Smartphones have become the preferred device for moms over the years. They adopted it early on and have held on tightly ever since. Here's some data about another mobile device that is favored by moms, and that's the tablet. 69% of moms say they own some kind of tablet. And smart speaker ownership is holding to where it was in 2019 with moms. This year in 2020, 33% of moms own some kind of smart speaker. Of moms who own a smart speaker, they actually own multiple. They own, on average, about 2 speakers. And this really illustrates how moms are maximizing what they can do with these devices that bring the family together. And here we see more evidence of how committed moms are to their smart speakers and their functionality. 41% of smart speaker moms own 1 device, while 59% report owning 2 or more. So once mom gets her hands on one of these and realizes how helpful it can be, she adds another one. The more you use one, the more you discover its capabilities. And as a result, these devices are being put all over the house. Staying on that theme of voice-assisted technology, 67% of moms use some form of voice-operated personal assistant. And this is not just with smart speakers. This means it could be through their smartphone, computer, or even tablet. Moms love the hands-free and they are masters of multitasking. Getting help with just a quick voice command? Yes, please. And here's a data point from the Infinite Dial Online survey from early in 2020, and it tells us that 58% of moms own wireless earphones or headphones. This number is up considerably from where it was last year when 38% of moms said they owned these tech accessories. Another data point from that online survey, almost 1/3 of moms own a fitness tracker, 32%. All right, so we've just seen the variety of devices that moms pull from their tech toolkit. But what are they relying on more now when they are sheltered at home and taking on a brand new kind of normal? Well, let's see. So we asked about this in a new survey that we fielded in April, and moms are definitely using all of their devices more during this unprecedented time. About 2/3 of moms said they are using television more. 63% of moms said they are using their smartphone more. And look, more than half, 53%, said they are using their laptop or desktop computer more. Many moms are working remotely from home, so that makes complete sense. Then we had about 1/3 who said they are using tablets more, and 21% of moms said they are using their smart speaker more. And smart speakers, they have that ability to engage the entire family, which is perfect since the family is home all together now. And finally, rounding out this slide, you see on the end there, 16% of moms said they are using AM/FM radio more. Moms are not the only ones upping their device game. 49% of moms agree their children are using new technology and devices during the COVID-19 pandemic. Oh yeah, they are. Children are relying on technology not only for their education through distance learning, but also to keep in touch with friends that they aren't seeing face to face. Even for kids who are savvy and already skilled with their devices, they are now having Zoom meetings with teachers and using Google Meet with coaches and teammates until they can get back out on the field. Kids now are being exposed to all kinds of new platforms and digital offerings. We love our devices, but they don't offer the functionality without the internet. So let's see how moms are accessing the internet and how much time they are spending with it. Just about all moms surveyed, 94%, said they have internet access from any location. And that means at home, at work, at school, or a library. And here we come back to the smartphone. 82% of moms access the internet from their cell phones. Anytime, anywhere, they can get online and take care of business, whether it's paying bills, checking social media, or even just browsing. Here we have the self-reported time with each form of media before COVID-19 hit us. So in our old normal, this is what mom's daily media time looked like. First up is radio. Moms reported spending on average about 1 hour and 40 minutes listening to radio, about 2 hours and 21 minutes watching television, and then, as we would expect, the internet gets the most daily media time. On average, moms reported spending 3 hours and 53 minutes daily. The internet already dominated the daily media time for moms in normal pre-COVID-19 times. But now, moms have increased their internet usage even more. 68% of moms say they are spending more time daily using the internet during the COVID-19 pandemic. And think about it. For moms who are now working remotely, the internet is non-negotiable. For moms managing distance learning for school-aged children, the internet is critical. And, not to be forgotten, the internet allows for those outside connections that we are all missing so much while sheltering at home. So thanks to the internet, we can keep up with family and friends through social media and video conferencing. The internet is being relied upon more now than ever. We are now going to head into our data about social media. And we have some tracking data to share on usage, and we also have some new data on what moms think about social media in the current climate. Our data this year shows us that 87% of moms are using some kind of social media. Over the years, we've seen that moms are highly engaged with social media, and they continue that in 2020. Here's that same 87% social media usage number for 2020, and it is shown here with trend data. And you'll notice that you see that tiny dip this year, but looking more broadly at this slide, you can see that up and down pattern over the last few years. So this year's data is actually very stable. Getting a little more specific now, here we have the percentage of moms using each of these social networking sites. Facebook remains the clear leader with 81% this year. Pinterest, which had a great showing last year, has slid back to about half of moms using it. For Instagram, Snapchat, and even LinkedIn, those percentages are right in line with where they were last year. Twitter, though, shows a noticeable decline, going from 23% in 2019 to 18% this year. On the previous slide, we just saw a pretty wide field of different social media sites, with Facebook topping that graph with an 81% usage by moms. Now on this slide, we're looking at the percentage of moms who use any social media site and use Facebook the most. And we have trending here, and you could see that after a slight downward shift last year, Facebook has rebounded right back with moms. 69% of social networking moms use Facebook the most. Facebook was in moms' social network early on, and they continue to use it most. Moms know it, and they are comfortable with it, so it is their go-to. So we know that moms rely on social media, and they make it a part of their routine during normal times. But as we continue to navigate through this pandemic, with many people still sheltering at home, social media is filling a genuine need to connect, a need that has never been greater. It is helping to close the gap of isolation. And there is a strength that comes from a sense of community and a sense of togetherness. And that's exactly what social media is all about, bringing community together, and as the name implies, being social. 56% of moms agree they are grateful for social media right now during the COVID-19 situation. Following up on that sense of togetherness, 39% of moms agreed that social media is their main source for staying up to date on the COVID-19 pandemic in their community. On social media is where they can get information that is truly local and impacting right where they live. Let's shift now to online audio and some of mom's other media habits that were measured before the pandemic. We'll follow that with some current insights about how these media habits have been altered by COVID-19. Here we have a tracking graph showing moms and their online audio listening from 2016 through this year. And on this one, we're looking at the percentage who have listened to online audio ever in the last month and in the last week. Online audio includes AM/FM radio over the internet and internet-only audio. 83% of moms have ever listened. 76% have listened in the last month, and then 70% of moms reported listening in the last week. That strong weekly number is right where it has been the last few years, so definitely a habit moms are sticking to. And while the percentage of listening weekly to online audio was flat at 70%, this slide shows us that those moms who are listening weekly are absolutely committed. Among moms who listened to online audio in the last week, we see a whopping 14 hours and 49 minutes spent listening. That is a lot of time and a big increase over that number from last year's study. For comparison, in 2019, moms reported listening weekly to online audio for about 11 hours and 35 minutes. So moms have increased their weekly online audio listening by about 3 hours and 14 minutes. We've been looking at podcast listenership for a handful of years now, and so we have some great tracking data, and it's very consistent for moms. We've seen a slow but steady rise, particularly with monthly and weekly listening. Nearly 4 in 10 moms have listened to a podcast in the last month, and about a quarter of moms report listening to one in the last week. Overall, 57% of moms have ever listened to a podcast. The large majority of moms continue to listen to AM/FM radio. 78% of moms have listened in the last week, and this is exactly on trend with the last couple of years. For all the new technology and media that they adopt, moms still show us that they hold on to some of those traditional forms as well. Almost half of moms have reported ever listening to an audiobook. Audiobooks are also referred to as books on tape, or books on CD, spoken books, or recorded books. And an audiobook is another form of audio that is portable for moms, and it can be completed when a busy schedule permits. So this very much fits her mobile lifestyle. For those who listen to audiobooks, they average about 7 per year. In this section, we just reviewed how in pre-COVID-19 times, moms have embraced all kinds of audio listening. We saw strong numbers for AM/FM radio, online audio, podcasts, and even audiobooks. But now, in the new normal, is there as much opportunity for these audio habits? For a quarter of moms, it's hard to find time to listen to these types of audio now. Circumstances are different and routines are completely altered. Many who are sheltering at home are working remotely, so there is no commuting. Moms are missing that big opportunity to listen. They are out of the house far less, if at all now, and so those other in-car opportunities are lost as well. There is a new stress of having everyone in the house all day, every day, and so for some, finding time for old habits is a challenge. Staying on the topic of current audio listening, here's a data point about the main reasons moms listen to audio when they do find the time. And here we are referring to AM/FM radio, online audio sources, and podcasts as audio. 74% of moms said they listen for relaxation and enjoyment, while 26% said they listen to stay informed about COVID-19. This tells us that whether it's music on AM/FM radio or music from online sources or even a podcast, audio in general is providing some relief and a bit of relaxation from the tension that comes with these uncertain times. Here's how audio stacks up against other forms of media for relaxation and entertainment during COVID-19. Audio is the most favorable with 74%, which we just saw on the previous slide. We have 68% of moms using social media to relax or be entertained, 65% said television, and then finally we have 61% who said that's what they are mainly using the internet for. Moms are leaning on their media habits to find balance and peace, and there is comfort in the familiar. But we are not in the familiar right now. This is not familiar territory. COVID-19 has turned life upside down in every way. Finding familiar and finding normal has taken on new meaning and more importance. This next and final section of our presentation will highlight what this new normal is. What's involved in the new normal for moms? Well, it looks something like this. Sheltering in place has elevated the need for technology. Children and their media needs are front and center. Moms are taking advantage of ways to stay in touch. Connecting with old media habits can be a challenge. and the need for relaxation and entertainment is driving media consumption. Technology is allowing life to continue right now. It is allowing us to work safely from home. It is allowing our children to learn and continue their schooling. Technology is providing gateways to say hello, and check in on those not in our immediate household. It's giving us entertainment to distract us and make us laugh, which we need right now. This list could go on and on. Imagine the current situation without the benefits of technology. It would make difficult seem impossible. For all of these reasons and more, we can fully understand why 72% of moms agree that technology has been essential during the COVID-19 pandemic. Distance learning plays a large part in the new normal for moms. Schools are closed, but the education continues from home. 54% of moms agree that they are spending a lot of time helping their children with distance learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. Moms and all parents really are doing their part to keep the schooling at home moving forward. Everything from tech and IT support all the way through to motivating the kids onto some kind of normal schedule. It's taxing and it's not easy. As parents, we take our hats off to the teachers and the educators who are working so hard and doing a great job for our children. What comes with distance learning is more screen time, and moms are noticing this. 47% of moms agree they are concerned about the amount of screen time their children are getting right now. Classrooms are now virtual, with assignments mostly all online based. Technology and devices are basically mandatory. Pair distance learning with home confinement, and children are looking at all screens a lot more now. Here we see that 58% of moms agree that their children's daily media time has increased. Without their normal out-of-home extracurricular activities, kids are filling their free time with streaming music, movies, and videos, not to mention whatever media is incorporated into their distance learning. A third of moms, 33%, agree that they are consuming more of their children's media for entertainment than their own during COVID-19. This comes back to the entire family being home together all day, every day, until the isolation period is over. Kids don't go to school, they don't have play dates or sports practices, no extracurricular activities. They are home all the time. And as parents, we are focused on trying our best to fill those voids. So there's now lots of family together time and lots of family activities instead of outings with their friends. That means we're getting more exposure to our children's media while we fill their time. We are watching and listening to content together, and so that content is kid-friendly and suitable for all members of the family pack. In our recent survey, we also asked moms how they are currently staying in touch with friends and family. And it's hard to be isolated and cut off from those you love. Luckily, through technology, we can still get in touch even from a distance. The large majority of moms told us that they are using typical ways, such as texting, telephone calls, and social media, even email. 58% of moms said video calling, such as FaceTime, and 38% said video conferencing, which means an online meeting platform like Zoom. The takeaway from this graph is that moms are using multiple ways to stay in touch with those they love. We followed that up to find out what they are actually using the most to stay in touch, and texting comes out on top, with 34% of moms saying they use that most often. In general, moms said their media consumption during the COVID-19 pandemic is more for relaxation and enjoyment, with 61% of moms saying so, compared to the 39% of moms who said it is more for staying informed. So what happens when we come out of this and we start to go out again and find our old behaviors and activities? Will some of these new habits stick? Nearly 4 out of 10 moms think so. 38% of moms agree that their current media habits will become their new normal. And it's unclear if anything will ever be the normal we used to know before COVID-19. But I think it is safe to say that what we've seen and what we've felt and what we've done over the last 8 weeks or so will never really leave us. So that brings us to the finish line here. Let's move on for a recap of this year's Moms and Media study. Moms are established in devices and technology, but usage has changed due to COVID-19. Devices are critical in order to keep connected while sheltering in place. Technology is essential in the day-to-day, and the internet dominates even more now. Media consumption is a mix of entertainment and necessary information. Moms seek media for a reprieve, and social media proves to be needed. The new normal puts children's media and technology first, with distance learning taking moms' time. Moms are giving their time to children's media for entertainment, and children themselves are getting consistent daily exposure to media and technology. As we wrap up, I'd like to thank you again for logging in and spending some of your time with me today. And I also want to thank my amazing Edison research team who works so hard behind the scenes. I couldn't do this without them, and I wouldn't want to. This Moms in Media 2020 report will be up on our website today at edisonresearch.com if you want to check it out. And if you've been enjoying these lunchtime webinars, keep an eye out for registration information about our next presentation, which is about podcast listening while being at home during the COVID-19 restrictions. Podcasting, Connection and Community During Quarantine will be presented on Thursday, May 21st at 1 p.m. Eastern as the next installment of our lunchtime webinar series. All right, that does it for me today. Please stay healthy and safe, everyone. And to all the moms who are with me today, happy Mother's Day. Make it a good one.